Hello everyone. Welcome to Recipes Galore. Today we're going to take an inside look at my kitchen. Yes, you get to see all the crazy bumbles and things that I do while preparing for making a meal. Today, as I said, I am sharing with you the ins and outs of what goes on in my kitchen for Thanksgiving prep. So, first thing we're going to do is I have some sweet potatoes in here. I'm getting ready to make them. I have my cinnamon in here already. I have my nutmeg in here already, and I have my vanilla. Now, in case you're wondering, I like using fresh products. The cinnamon that I use is these cinnamon sticks. I grate these cinnamon sticks into my pot. Also, I use fresh nutmeg. For those of you who don't know what a fresh nutmeg is, I will show you. This is what a nutmeg looks like. It's kind of like an acorn. Let me get it closer so you can see. It kind of looks like an acorn, but it's not an acorn. And this is what the inside of it looks like. So when you grate it, this is what the inside of it, but it smells so fantastic. Now, what I don't have is my ginger. To this batch of sweet potatoes, because it's Thanksgiving, I like to add ginger, give it a little kick. I found this little grater, it's called a grate plate. So I have my ginger root, and what I'm going to do, let me show you, is I'm going to rub it across here, and it's going to grate up it's grating up my ginger so I can put it into my potatoes. So I'm going to brush this off into my sweet potatoes, and then, as promised, I'm going to show you how to make brown sugar. I promised someone last week that I would show her this week how to make the brown sugar. And I'm going to add a half a stick of butter. I'm going to pull my potatoes back, and I'm going to put it down next to the bottom of the pan so that it will provide some moisture, and my potatoes won't burn on the bottom. So I'm going to pull that back and let the butter go to the bottom. And then I'm going to put a lid on it and let it start cooking while I make my sugar. Put it on here, and I'll put it on low. Whoops, wrong eye. Helps when you get the right eye. I'm putting it down on low, and I'm going to, hello Sandra Lorraine, okay, Lorraine, Sandra Lorraine, okay, I think I got it right. Hello Erlina, how are you? Thanks for joining me. So, I'm gonna make my brown sugar. I have 2 cups of white granulated sugar in here, and my favorite molasses. Let me show you, so you can see this. Now, what I do is I start out with a small amount, and I mix it until it gets to the consistency that I like. But because I have made this before, I pretty much know the amount that I need. So in order to save you and me time, I'm just gonna pour the amount I need in here and keep it moving. So, I'm gonna pour this in here, and it depends on whether you want light brown sugar or dark brown sugar. Dark brown sugar has a bit more of the molasses flavor. Light brown sugar, not so much. So I'm gonna take this is a pie crust tool. This is a kneading tool for pastry tool. But I love doing this with this because it gets it in there so quick. And it doesn't take long for you to make this. It just takes patience for you to continue churning until it turns into brown sugar. Let me show you what I have in my bowl so far. It is mixing together. Now your brown sugar, it is going to be moist because of the molasses. Make sure you store it in an airtight container. I like using a Ziploc bag simply because I can just fold it up any kind of way and put it in my pantry, and it doesn't take up a lot of space. And here we go. We're almost done with our brown sugar. It was that quick, that easy, that simple. There you go. Brown sugar. Simple as easy peasy. Now, I'm going to put some of this brown sugar in my sweet potatoes and get them started. I made up just enough. Now, the next thing we're going to do is I'm going to make my cranberry sauce. You're going to need some fresh cranberries. A bag of, it's like, what is it, 12 ounces? So it's going to take a little sauce pot about like this. You need a cup of water and a cup of sugar. Pour my cup of sugar into the water. Wow. There we go. What we're going to do is we're going to put this in here. I'm going to turn it up on high because it needs to boil. Once your water starts to boil, so we're going to let the water boil, this 1 cup of water come to a boil, and then we're going to add our sugar. And then we're going to let it come to a boil and continue to boil until the sugar melts. Then we add the cranberry. Now, you can, once you have finished making this, while it's still hot, you can add cranberries. You can add raisins or currants or orange zest or lemon zest if you'd like, but that's up to you. We'll get started with some of this corn. Now, my corn, I like fresh corn off the cob. Let me grab my knife. And I'll show you how I do it. First thing, please get all the hair off your, I like to call it hair, but please get all the corn silk. There's a piece right there, speaking of which, off of your corn before you start cutting, because no one likes to eat corn silk. So we're gonna cut this. I like to go like 3 rows at a time, sometimes 4, depends on. And I just cut it and shave it right off into my skillet. Now this will get messy, just letting you know. The corn will pop all over the place. So if you go slow, it helps to control it. If you know what you're doing and you've been at this for a while, you can go fast, clean up afterwards. So it's up to you. But I'm going to cut all of this off of here before I milk what I do like to call milk the corn. My water's getting ready to boil. So I have just enough time to finish this one before I add my sugar. And when I cook, I try not to waste time. While one thing is doing something else, I'm doing something else, and this is doing that, I'm doing that. So I try to cook in a manner where, come out of there. I try to cook in a manner where everything can get done at the same time, but you have to know what takes longer than the other. But because this is just my food prep day, I'm just getting it ready for tomorrow, then it really doesn't matter. I'm going to pour my sugar into my boiling water, and I'm going to stir. Okay, my sugar is dissolving. Yeah, I'll show you my pot. Well, there's a little bit left. My sugar has dissolved. If you can see that water in there. My sugar's in there. Now I need to bring it up to a boil. So I'll bring this up to a boil before I add my cranberry. Okay, I'm going to wash this with warm water and vinegar. Okay, my water is boiling down. So I'm going to add my cranberries. And let them boil. And as they boil, it's like making a syrup. Okay. Now, let me grab stir this up. Now we're gonna let this boil until all the cranberries start to burst open. And I can see them bursting. Ooh, can you hear that? They're popping. Can you hear them popping? So we're gonna let them boil for a few minutes, for about 5 minutes. And let them, and while that is boiling, I'm gonna continue with my corn. For those of you who just joined me, I am making some fried corn. Oh wow. Okay, I'm gonna step over here because while they are popping, I don't want to get popped. And now that I've gotten all my corn cut off the cob, wait a minute, wrong. Let's see. Oh, they're getting it popping. Okay. Okay, once most of them pop, I'm gonna set my timer for 5 minutes. And then, after 5 minutes, I turn it off and let it cool, completely cool, and then put it in the refrigerator. And as it cools, it will start to gel. Now, don't throw this cob away, because we're not done with this corn. You have to milk the cob. And that's what my grandma used to say. You have to milk it. When I say milk it, I mean you just run your knife over it, and you can probably see it popping. But there's some juicy goodness coming from the corn. So don't throw the cobs away. Not just yet. Hold on, let me put this in this other pan. Okay, let me set my timer. Before this timer gets to going good, I'm going to show you what I have in my pot. See if you can see the cranberries. Can you see that? And they're bursting open. It's all about adding to it. So we're just going to milk this. Oh, that looks so good. Let me turn this down. I don't want it to bubble over. Okay. So I'm going to finish milking this corn. Can y'all see that bubbling? Let me turn this down. I don't want it to bubble. I don't want it to bubble over. I have 2 more minutes on this bubble. This is going to be our turkey for this year since it's just the 2 of us. This is a Butterball fully cooked turkey breast. It has the ribs and the back portion to it too, but it's already smoked. So what I will do is wrap this in some aluminum foil and put it in the oven and let it slow cook. Or if the oven is full, I will wrap it in some aluminum foil and put it in my crock pot and let it slow cook. And that way it can cook on low for about the last hour before dinner is ready. I'll put it in there and let this slow cook. And that way it'll be completely warm, because I had it in the freezer and they come frozen. So I took it out of the freezer on Tuesday night. Yeah, on Tuesday night. No, Monday night. I took it out Monday night. So I could make, and I thawed it in the refrigerator. So it still seems to be a little bit frozen in the middle. But by tomorrow morning, it should be completely thawed out. So this is what we're having as our turkey for tomorrow, since it's just two of us. I am not creating this big, huge turkey for just two of us. And that's my timer. Ooh, that's gonna be some good sauce. Can y'all see that? Those cranberries all bursting. And it's already thickened up. And as it cools down, it will thicken even more. Let me see if you all can see that. It's kind of dark because I have a dark pot. But can you see those cranberries? They are yummy, yummy, yummy. So, we're gonna finish our corn, and then I'm gonna get it started. Now, sometimes when it's not Thanksgiving and I want fried corn and I want to dress it up a bit, I will put some red and green bell peppers in here and some onions, and talk about yum. It becomes a yummy, yummy treat. So there's several ways, you know, fix your fried corn the way you want to. And I don't know if you can see all of this coming off of here, and it's making a mess into my pot over here that I'm reserving for my green bean casserole. But yeah, I'm gonna add some salt. And I'm gonna add some fresh ground pepper. And then I'm gonna put a little sugar in here to bring out the sweetness of the corn. And that's pretty much gonna be it. Along with some, I'll put some butter in here. Grab this. I'm just gonna put about 1/4 cup of sugar. And I had 12 ears of corn in here, in case you're wondering. And I'm gonna turn this down low. I'm gonna grab my butter. I'm going to put 1/2 stick of butter in here. Where's my little knife? There it is. I'm gonna cut 1/2 stick of butter. That's like 4 tablespoons, in case you're wondering. I'm putting 4 tablespoons of butter in here. I'm gonna put a lid on it and let it slow cook for about 15-20 minutes. I don't want it to cook completely. I just want it to get what we call to blanch it. That's a word my grandmother used. They probably still use it in the cooking world, but I'm just going to blanch my corn for right now. Now we are going to make green bean casserole. So let me rinse this out. I got corn jam, should I say, like corn milk, should I say, in here from doing my corn. Although it's not going to hurt anything, I'm still going to rinse it out. And grab my bowl. So I have a can of cream of chicken soup. I am allergic to cream of mushroom, which normally goes in green bean casserole soup, but because I am allergic, I don't put it in there. So I put okay. I got 1 can cream of chicken soup. When you get your green beans, make sure if you buy, you can do this. You can do this with fresh green beans, or you can do this with canned green beans. If you do it with canned green beans, please be sure that you drain the liquid off of your green beans before you put them in your casserole, or else it is going to be a very soggy casserole. About 42.5 ounces of green beans drained. I'm just going to pour that in there. Pour that in there. So I'm going to use a half a cup of half and half. You can get this whatever store brand you like. These are French's. These are made by French's. Durkee makes them also. So whatever brand of onions you like, that's what brand you get. We need 2/3 cup of these onions in here. Okay. Now, I'm just making this up for today, and tomorrow I'm going to put it in my casserole dish, and tomorrow I will actually cook this. But I like to have everything prepared because the seasonings in my food get so, it just tastes so much better on the second day. It's kind of like spaghetti sauce. It tastes better on the second or third day. And this is black pepper that I'm adding in here. I'm not adding salt because the beans are salty itself, and then the cream of chicken soup is salty, so I'm not adding any salt. I'm just going to take a fork and mix this up, and then I'm going to pour it into my casserole dish, and then we'll be on to our last dish of the day, which is the cornbread dressing. Now, I'm going to let you see what I have in my pot, in my bowl, before I pour it into my, this is my casserole. Now, what I will do tomorrow is I will put this in the oven and cook it. And once it starts getting bubbly, after about 20 to 25 minutes, it gets bubbly. And then I will take some of these and sprinkle them over the top and put them back in the oven and let them get all nice and crunchy and brown on top. And then your casserole is ready. It's just that simple. So if you're taking notes, I'm just going to pour this into my casserole dish. And like I said, I'm going to bake this tomorrow at 350 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes until it starts bubbling. And then I will take it out and I will put some more onions on top and let them get all nice and crunchy and brown, and voila, we're done. Cornbread dressing. For the cornbread dressing. Okay, so in my bowl, now you can use Jiffy Mix. I pulled it out here if you want to. 3 boxes of Jiffy Mix, because I've had to use that before when I ran out of ingredients in Alaska and couldn't go find any. But there is 2 cups of yellow cornmeal, 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and a 1/2 cup of sugar. Now, that's the base of the cornbread. Now, I am going to add some baking powder. Ooh, goodness. Glad I don't have to bake anything else, since I'm almost out of my baking powder. I didn't realize I've been doing this much baking. Okay, so I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons. Now I'm going to add some salt. I'm going to add some regular pepper. Yeah, this thing is slow. I'm gonna add some of my favorite. Get you some of this. Slap your mama. If you don't have any, get you some. I promise you, you will not regret it. Okay, so this is my eyeball meal. So I'm just gonna say approximately a teaspoon, half a teaspoon of Slap Your Mama. I don't want it too spicy. And this is the secret ingredient. This is what is going to make it just pop in your mouth. Sage. Sage is the secret ingredient to this. Now, as I say, I eyeball it, but I'm gonna eyeball it with a teaspoon today. How about that? Let me see if I can get this one off. Nope, can't get that one off in there. I may not be eyeballing it with a teaspoon. Okay. Okay, so that's a half a teaspoon, which is nowhere near enough. That's another half teaspoon. One more. At least one more. Okay. Nah, that's not enough. When I eyeball it, it just works better. Okay, so I'm gonna say 2 teaspoons of sage. Okay, so this one is your friend too. This is called Poultry Seasoning. Now, Poultry Seasoning has thyme, sage, marjoram, rosemary, nutmeg, and black pepper in it. Now, again, I'm gonna try to give you all some, I usually eyeball this, so I'm trying to give you all some, let's see, I would say that's a half teaspoon, or a teaspoon of poultry seasoning. Okay, there we go. Now, this is all before it goes in the oven. Okay, now, I take 1 can of cream of chicken soup with herbs, because it just makes it taste better. Okay. Now, and we need 3 eggs. And just for some added flavor, I sprinkle a little Lowry seasoning salt. And then we're going to stir this together. Put half a cup, half and half. We'll start out with half a cup because I have some other things that we're going to put in here. All right, we're going to add another half a cup of our half and half. All right. I'll let you see what I have in my bowl as soon as I get through and stirring it up. And yes, it may look funny, but it's gonna taste good. I promise you that. See that? That is the dressing. Now, because I don't like crunchy vegetables in my dressing, I always add my onions and my celery to the first batch, to the first go round, because once we, come out of that potato, once we cook this once, we're gonna take it out, but I'll explain that to you after the fact. Let me get all this in here, and then I'll do all my explaining. Okay, so I took 2 ribs of celery and I chopped it up. And I took, let me find my onion. And I chopped them up. So it made about maybe 3/4 cup of onions. And I like to put them in here, and I like to bake them, my celery and my onions. I like to bake them the first go round, because the way I make my dressing is I will make this mix and I put it in the oven and I cook it until it's done, about 30-35 minutes. I put it in a 9x13 pan. Make sure you oil the bottom of the pan before you put it in there. And I like to bake this first. And then tomorrow, I will take the bread, I will take it out of here and put it in a bowl. The already done cornbread, this mix, already done, baked. I'll put it in a bowl and mix it up with, crumble it up and put my chicken broth in there, about 20 ounces of chicken broth and 2 eggs. And before you put the eggs in, taste it, because it may need some more seasoning. But once you put the dressing in the, once you take the dressing out and once it has cooked, and I take it out, I crumble it up, and I pour about 20 ounces of chicken broth on it. And then I taste it. If it's not salty enough, I add a little bit of salt. If it doesn't have enough sage to me, I add some sage to it. And that's pretty much all I do. And then I add my eggs and I stir it up. And then I put it in my presentation bowl. This is my presentation casserole bowl. I love this Rachel Ray bowl. Love it, love it, love it. I love the handles. So convenient to take out of the oven, put it in the oven. And I love that it's oval and it's blue. It's so cute. It looks so good on the dining room table. So, oh goodness. So, but yeah, that's it. Thank you all for joining me today for a behind the scenes look and just a recap of what we did today. We made some brown sugar from scratch. We made some candied yams that are cooking over here and smelling kind of yummy. We made some fried corn, and it's time for me to turn that off. I'm going to stir it up and turn it off. As a matter of fact, let me turn it off right now. We made some, oh, look at there, y'all. That cranberry sauce has gotten thick. We made some homemade cranberry sauce today. Again, as I said, you can add lemon zest. You can add raisins, you can add currants, whatever you want to add to your sauce. If it's not sweet enough for you, add a little bit more sugar. But homemade cranberry sauce, fried corn, we made green bean casserole, and we are pretty much set for tomorrow. And I showed you the turkey that I'm gonna cook for tomorrow. Thank you all for joining me, and I appreciate you. And I will see you all next week for another Recipes Galore. I hope you enjoyed the behind the scenes and all the things that I go through to get what I need and to get what I like, the flavors that I like. So we will talk to you all later. I don't know if I showed you. Oh, I didn't. I showed you the nutmeg, but I didn't show you the vanilla. So if you can see this, you see those little vanilla sticks? Well, they were out there. Let me try to tilt it. See if you can see the vanilla. In there is some vanilla. Can you see that? The vanilla beans. This is bourbon vanilla. So I added this to my sweet potatoes. And I will be giving some out as Christmas gifts too. So I will see you all next time, next week on Recipes Galore. Please share this video with your friends, your family, anybody who's doing Thanksgiving dinner and needs some recipe ideas. Please share. Thank you. I'll see you all next time.